We've got the Digital Minute coming up with here, Mr. Elohim Barahona. Man, this is so awesome.
Yeah, he was really excited last week. So, guys, I don't know if nonprofit's the right word, but we like to utilize our resources. So we were really excited to get everybody badges for Soul Rebel Radio, and he was really excited because he got to use his badge at this awesome Anime Expo.
That's right.
And so it was his first one as the producer for Digital Minute and the segment. So you guys are really in for a treat here. You guys listen to him every week, and you know how much knowledge he brings when it comes to video games or just the gaming world in general. So I'm really excited for this one.
Alex Haddad right here with the Skull Girls. Here we go, man. Fasten your seatbelts. It is time for the Digital Minute.
Hello and welcome to the Digital Minute, the radio show for the latest in pop culture and gaming news, reviews, and interviews. My name is Elohim Barahona, and I am your host. Guess what? I had the privilege of attending Anime Expo for all 4 days. So shout outs to Anime Expo and the Society for the Promotion of Japanese Animation for hooking it up. They were really courteous and offered me a pass when I applied. So I'm grateful for that, and I hope we get to continue to work together in the future. They really know how to throw a convention. I also got to speak to Alex Ahad, the man responsible for the world, story, and artwork of fighting game Skullgirls. It's an amazing fighter. I'd strongly recommend it if you like that old Marvel vs. Capcom hyper fighting style of video game. I'd strongly recommend it. It's fast, it's punchy, and it looks amazing. So we're going to get to hear what's going down with Mr. Alex Ahad at Anime Expo. This is Elohim Barahona from the Digital Minute here at Anime Expo 2024, speaking to Alex Ahad. Mr. Alex Ahad, would you like to introduce yourself to us?
Hi, nice to meet all of you. My name is Alex Ahad. I am the creator of the world and story and art style of the game Skullgirls. I'm also working on a lot of other concept art and video game work and comic work and a lot of personal projects. But yeah, I'm known best for Skullgirls.
Thank you for talking to us, Alex. I know about your time with Skullgirls. Tell me, do you want to just give us a little brief history of yourself and Skullgirls?
Sure, yeah. It's an idea that I thought about back when I was in college. It was inspired by seeing a lot of like doujin and indie fighting games from Japan at the time, and there weren't that many in the West during then. But and I had no experience in terms of game development programming, but I had a lot of character designs and this hypothetical roster that I would love to put together. And then a friend of mine introduced me to Mike Z at the time, who was working on his own game engine, but he didn't have art assets. And we were kind of in the same area, so we just kind of met together and just kind of collaborated with our different skill sets to put together the initial stuff for Skullgirls. And as we worked on it there, it was something that we built up over time and pitched around, and that's kind of how things started. And then we got funding through Autumn Games, and we were able to develop the initial Skullgirls game that way and stuff like that. Yeah.
Awesome, yeah, and it sounds like you had quite the journey, from Skullgirls, and I believe you said you worked on other projects. Do you have any other notable projects that you worked on aside from Skullgirls?
So when I was still at Lab Zero, the other project that I worked on was the action RPG Indivisible. In terms of other things, I have been, before Skullgirls, I was at Gaia Online, and I've done stuff for Way Forward, and I've done some contract work for WB, for Animaniacs, and I've done several other smaller projects and some other things that I can't quite mention yet, though one of the things I'm currently doing is some concept work for Pato Labs. So yeah, there are various other projects that I'm doing stuff for, some of which are more publicly known than others. So you can look forward to seeing more of my stuff. If you just look up my name online, you'll probably see my Patreon and my social media. You can check it out to see more of what I've been going to do next. Yeah.
And also, my friends and I, we're fans of Skullgirls, obviously, and we love your art style. So can you just give us an insight, what inspired that nice squash and stretch art style that you're known for?
I think like a lot of the things I was growing up with like really influenced my style. So because I really like a lot of anime, but I'm also in America, so kind of like a combination of like anime and like cartoons. So like I kind of like that kind of middle ground to play around with, because I think something like that is kind of got a unique, more dynamic energy to it and stuff, and just kind of it can be silly in some ways. So it's kind of fun and to really exaggerate stuff. But I would say like one of the major influences would be stuff like 90s to early 2000s Capcom. I really like Capcom stuff, and Trigger, and also Vanillaware and Bruce Timm, and just like a lot of like these Mike Mignola, a lot of these different combinations of different styles kind of just combined into this style. Yeah.
And what would you say is like your favorite thing that you've created in your time being an artist? Like, what's your favorite like project that you've worked on?
It obviously ends up being depending on my mood, but I guess like currently I'm really enjoying this one personal project that I'm working right now called Ultimate Monster Alliance, UMA. It's like Monster Girl Pro Wrestling is the idea. It's the next project that I'm trying to put together something for. So definitely you can see more of that coming up, and I've been having a lot of fun working on that idea of like Monster Girl and folklore mythology stuff, but like in the modern setting of like Joshi Pro Wrestling. So that's kind of like the current project that I'm working on, and I think that's the one I've been having a lot of fun thinking about. So I'd probably say that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that sounds really exciting. Honestly, I haven't heard about that until now. So I'm looking forward. I'm going to look forward to that. Monster Girl Wrestling sounds like a good time. Yeah, no worries. And with that, we're obviously at Anime Expo, and I have seen you here like every year. What keeps you coming back to Anime Expo?
Well, it's a local show for me, and it's also like by far my best seller. Like this convention is huge. It's gotten bigger every year. This year's been run really well too. So I feel like it's like it's like because it's so close to me, as well as like such a high sales, and like a lot of the people here are regulars who come by to. It's like a yearly tradition for them to catch up to. So it's kind of like a nice little reunion with a lot of different people too. So it's kind of like I always feel like that's very inspiring to keep in touch with the community that way.
So, like, with that being said, would you recommend like people come to Anime Expo if they've never watched anime before or have engaged with it in any way?
That is definitely going to be quite an experience if you've never done anime stuff or are not familiar with it, and you come here. I mean, it's definitely a great way to like get introduced to a lot of like the whole industry like immediately. It might be overwhelming in some ways, but you'll probably have a lot of questions like who's that character, but you'll end up getting those answered the best here, probably because I'm sure all of those booths like Crunchyroll and AmiAmi and whoever else they can answer your questions like super easily in terms of stuff like that. So I guess it's like it's a fun way to get introduced to anime. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Mr. Alex Ahad, for talking to me today here at Anime Expo. If they wanted to find you on socials, where would they look for you?
So you can probably look up my name, just Alex Ahad, and then it should come up. But my screen name is lowercase o __ 8 for Twitter, and then 7 underscores for Instagram. But because I have like kind of a weird screen name, but I'd recommend just looking up my name, and it should come up also. So Alex Ahad. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, Alex, for talking to me today, and I hope you have a wonderful time at whatever remains here at Anime Expo. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you so much. You too. It was really fun here, and it was fun talking to you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in tonight to the Digital Minute. I'd recommend you follow Mr. Alex Ahad. That's Alex, ALEX, Ahad, AHAD. You can Google his name, and one of the first results is his Instagram, so I'd follow him there. His handle's a little funky, but you can find it pretty easily if you just Google his name. He goes to plenty of conventions, and he has his own Patreon where you can give him money to see his dope artwork. So I strongly recommend looking into his stuff. If you see Skullgirls and you love that artwork, he has more of that on his Patreon and his socials. So check him out. I would strongly recommend it. And hey, little surprise, the Digital Minute now has an Instagram too. So follow Digital Minute Show at Instagram. That's Digital Minute Show on Instagram. It's still a little bare bones, but I'm going to be posting there, announcing every week's episode, and maybe uploading some things that don't get to make it to the air. So hey, keep an eye on it. So that was tonight's show. Thank you for tuning in to SoCal. I love you all, and have a wonderful night.
And thank you, Halloween, for that. Mr. Barahona. I mean, and to go to an expo like that, get an interview, I mean, I'm sure it's just so overwhelming, exciting. I actually did my research on the Skullgirls. I have a favorite one. I think if I did do the right research, I found a character named Double, and they're like a double skeleton, and they have this really cool like nun outfit too. I don't know. I can see where the appeal is though. And me, as somebody who has no idea what this was prior to this interview, like, I'm sure the appeal is there.
Alex Adon, man, we got to say thank you so much for hanging out with our guy Elohim right there. And you're going to be catching more interviews and more segment stuff from Elohim and the Digital Minute coming up from the expo right there. Thank you so much for allowing our segment producers in to go ahead and cover the story.
And to many more, because this isn't it.
Oh, yeah.
We're
just getting started.
Just getting started. The summer's getting started. You have any events coming up this summer?
I do. I actually... I just played a big event yesterday over in the San Fernando Valley. Shouts out to 7-Eleven and the whole corporation over there.
Oh my God.
Did something good for them.
I love how he just humbly always drops it at the end. That's what I love about Emiliano.
You know, follow me on my Instagram, see what's up. You know, I'm always dropping it.